Now she's with God. Our age is just scary because that could have been any one of us.
He was trying to get at her as well, and I didn't know. And then she, like, it got brought up. Obviously, he felt the way.
People like to say that time brings closure, but sometimes time does the opposite. Sometimes it stretches unanswered questions until they start to feel heavier instead of lighter. And every so often, something small happens that cracks an old door back open, letting a story everyone thought was settled breathe again. That's what's happening now with Aaliyah. For years, her death has been labeled a tragic accident, a heartbreaking moment frozen in 2001. But lately, people aren't just reminiscing about her legacy anymore. They're re-examining it, re-listening to old interviews, re-watching moments that once felt harmless, and most importantly, they're paying closer attention to what Dame Dash has been saying all along. Because when the man who was closest to Aaliyah at the end says her fate wasn't random, that doesn't land like gossip. It lands like unfinished business. Before we go any further, make sure you like and subscribe, because stories like this don't resurface by accident, and once you see how many loose ends there really are, you'll understand why this conversation refuses to die.
She understood me.
After your artist dated her, you don't think
no, my artist did not. He was trying her. Everybody put their bid in. I'm gonna tell you right now, as a man,
okay,
I'm never ever wifing a girl that any of my friends smashed. It's not happening.
So why'd you date her after Jay?
I just told you that. Now you're reading the papers wrong. We all were
Even if he slept with her, why did you go after her?
I just told you I would never. That should tell you something right there. We were both putting in our bid. None of us had scored. That's how it went. So when we were all trying to get at Aaliyah, everybody, that was Aaliyah.
Yeah.
So it wasn't him. Just because he tried and gave flowers and got denied don't mean I can't try and win.
To understand why Aaliyah's death still unsettles people, you have to remember exactly who she was at the moment her life ended. She wasn't a what if. She wasn't on the verge. She had already arrived. By 22, she had reshaped R&B, influenced fashion, crossed into pop without losing credibility, and successfully stepped into Hollywood. She wasn't boxed in. She wasn't chasing trends. She was setting them. Insiders have said that Aaliyah represented a rare combination the industry both craves and fears: talent, independence, and momentum. She wasn't loud. She wasn't desperate for attention. She didn't over-explain herself. She moved calmly, confidently, and on her own terms. And historically, the industry doesn't always reward artists like that, especially not women, especially not when there are limited seats at the top and enormous money tied to who occupies them. Dame Dash has always insisted that context matters. Over the years, he's repeatedly suggested that Aaliyah's death didn't feel like a simple accident to him, not emotionally and not logistically. He's talked openly about how people move differently when tragedy hits, how grief creates opportunity for others, and how the industry doesn't pause just because someone is hurting. Dame has also addressed the complicated dynamics surrounding Jay-Z at the time.
The most fucked up shit was Aaliyah dying. That was the most fucked up shit. And all the shit I had to deal with that. You'll be surprised how people act when they think you're hurt. That's when they really start trying to make moves on you. That time I was beefing in Def Jam and shit, like when I was, they got that tape of me, and that's when they made that meeting, and they made that meeting to do some shit behind my back. So that's when they go. And you know, business is ruthless like that. Life is ruthless. Jay was trying to get at her as well, and I didn't know. And then she, like, it got brought up, and I was like, fuck both of y'all. But it never worked out for them, and we were both like trying to get at her. I like kind of eased up, but then we ran into each other.
Is he bitter?
Obviously, he felt the way.
Saying that multiple men in the industry were interested in Aaliyah, but that she made her own decisions and turned people down. According to Dame, rejection played a role in tension, bitterness, and fallout. And while none of that proves wrongdoing, it does paint a picture of an environment where emotions, egos, and ambition were colliding behind closed doors. Then there's the timing that people can't stop circling back to. Aaliyah died in August 2001. Just a few months later, Jay-Z and Beyoncé publicly emerged as a couple. On paper, that could be coincidence, but context matters. Beyoncé was transitioning into her solo era, competing in a crowded space filled with talented vocalists. Aaliyah, by contrast, had already carved out a distinct lane that merged music, film, fashion, and mystique. Fans have long pointed out that the path Beyoncé ultimately dominated looked eerily similar to the one Aaliyah had been building. That doesn't mean anyone stole anything, but when one star disappears and another rises into a nearly identical cultural position shortly afterward, people naturally start asking questions. Over the years,
he lined up Dame Dash, stole his life, identity, and took his love. They're responsible for enacting Hype Williams to put Aaliyah on a faulty plane, to move her out the way as punishment for rejecting him, and so he could level up Beyonce, who was struggling. Let's just say allegedly that happened. Now I want you to think about 106th and Park with Mary J. Blige.
In memory of Aaliyah. I don't even know what to say. I just know that was a murder. You know what I'm saying? That was a spiritual murder, whether people know it or not. Because God don't kill people. You know what I'm saying? Whether people know it or not. And I could go deep, but a lot of people I would have to really bring proof. You know what I'm saying? For what I learned. And she just was cut down in the prime of her life.
Other voices added to the discomfort. Jaguar Wright, among others, has made explosive allegations about industry sacrifices, power consolidation, and who allegedly benefited from Aaliyah no longer being around. She has named Jay-Z and Beyoncé directly, always framing her statements as claims and insider knowledge rather than proven facts. These comments resurfaced older moments people had largely forgotten, including one of the strangest interviews ever given after Aaliyah's death. Mary J. Blige, speaking not long after the crash, referred to Aaliyah's passing as a spiritual murder, saying God doesn't kill people, and hinting that she could go much deeper but wouldn't. That moment never sat right with fans, not because Mary explained too much, but because she explained almost nothing at all, and no one pressed her to clarify. Then there are the details of the crash itself.
I love music with my heart, and I love acting as well. There's some similarities, but yet there are a lot of differences as well, and I like doing both. And with acting, I get to explore a different side of myself. It can be very cathartic in a lot of ways, and the same with music, so I don't want to abandon one for the other. I want to try to do both as long as I can.
What's up? This is Beyonce on the red carpet with one of the hottest female artists out here, Miss Aaliyah. How you doing, girl?
It's so good to see you.
You too. She's just looking fabulous. What are you wearing tonight?
I'm wearing Gucci shoes, Gucci. Got a little Indian jewelry right
Oh, that is hot. All right. Now, you've been working it with these movies. Were you nervous?
Very nervous, but I'm real happy. It's something I've wanted for a long time to finally make that transition. It's great.
You're doing another movie this summer, right?
Hopefully things work out. Everything will be rolling.
That's great.
Which remained the most unsettling part of the story. Official investigations concluded that the plane was overloaded, the pilot was unqualified, and substances were found in his system. But multiple accounts have claimed that Aaliyah did not want to get on that plane, that she had a bad feeling, that she was sedated, that she was carried on board while unconscious. To this day, no one has clearly stated what she was given, who approved it, or why sedation was necessary for a short flight. The plane crashed seconds after takeoff, killing everyone on board. Her bodyguard initially survived, but later died from his injuries, leaving no surviving witnesses from the aircraft itself. Meanwhile, others who were part of the same production chose to fly separately the next day. That decision has never been fully explained, and the silence around it continues to fuel speculation. What made things even harder to ignore was what followed. Less than a year later, Jay-Z released The Blueprint 2, featuring 03 Bonnie and Clyde, his first major collaboration with Beyoncé.
She suffered severe burns and a head injury. The coroner said that even if she survived the crash, that due to shock, her recovery would have been nearly impossible. Scott Galen, Aaliyah's security guard, initially survived the crash but died shortly after. He spent his last moments asking if Aaliyah was going to be alright. The NTSB reported that the aircraft was overloaded and was carrying one more passenger than it was certified for. The maximum weight had been substantially exceeded, and the center of gravity was positioned beyond its real limits. They also stated that pilot Morales had only been hired just 2 days before the crash. and was not approved to fly the aircraft. He falsely obtained his license by showing logs of hundreds of flight hours he had never flown. He also reported no contest to a cocaine charge just 12 days before the accident, and his toxicology report revealed traces of cocaine and alcohol in his system.
The song didn't just succeed, it rebranded both of them. Jay later admitted that they exchanged audiences and credibility, accelerating each other's dominance. To fans already suspicious of timing, the optics were impossible to miss. Aaliyah gone. A new power couple solidified almost immediately after. Again, correlation is not proof, but unanswered questions have a way of stacking up. More recently, the conversation took another unexpected turn with Blue Ivy. Fans began noticing that Blue's public appearances, particularly her styling, hair, and overall presence, strongly evoked Aaliyah, not facially, but energetically. The quiet confidence, the effortless cool, the smoothness. Social media exploded after a Lakers game appearance, and the comparisons spread quickly. Tina Knowles once even acknowledged the resemblance publicly, writing that Blue's swag reminded her of Aaliyah, before later editing that part out. That edit alone reignited speculation. Was it innocent? Most likely.
I know so much on how you got where you are, how you stepped on many people, on anybody, to stay on the top. To remember, your relationship was a business relationship, financial, to get to the top, to become billionaires. There's no love there. See, what's done in the dark will definitely come in the light. Keep your threats up. I'm here today.
But in a story already filled with edits, omissions, and silence, even small changes feel loaded. So, what are people really reacting to here? It's not just nostalgia. It's not just conspiracy culture. It's the sense that Aaliyah's story never received a satisfying ending, that the official explanation didn't address the emotional and logistical inconsistencies, that powerful figures moved on too quickly, and that those closest to her never sounded convinced it was just a tragic fluke. Dame Dash has never claimed to have proof of a setup, but he has consistently claimed that the circumstances didn't feel right. And when someone who loved her refuses to accept randomness, people listen. At the end of the day, Aaliyah was more than a star. She was a cultural moment, a future that never got to arrive. And maybe that's why her story keeps resurfacing. Because deep down, people don't believe a life that influential simply disappears without ripple effects. Whether you believe it was a tragic chain of mistakes or something far more calculated, one thing is undeniable. Too many questions remain unanswered. And until they are, Aaliyah's name will never fully rest. Let me know what you think. Do you believe this was just an accident? Or do you think there's more beneath the surface that we were never meant to see? Drop your thoughts below, and I'll catch you in the next one.